The small transport craft drifted through Earth's atmosphere without engines, without light, and without leaving even the faintest thermal signature. Anyone watching the night sky would have mistaken it for a fragment of falling space debris. That was exactly how its pilot preferred it. She sat motionless inside the narrow cockpit while holographic maps floated around her like transparent ghosts. Every blinking symbol insisted on the same conclusion. Planet classification. Preserved memorial world. Native intelligent species extinct. Population 0. Historical protection status level 9. She read the final line again before muttering to herself. Well, that's comforting. The dead usually make terrible neighbors. The ship answered with its emotionless synthetic voice. Statistically inaccurate. Neighbor disputes among deceased civilizations cannot be measured. She rolled her eyes. I wasn't asking. I know. I dislike you. Your opinion has been archived. She sighed dramatically. Even after escaping 3 star systems and 2 bounty fleets, she still could not escape the ship's personality module. The woman looked almost completely human. Soft features, expressive eyes, dark hair tied loosely behind her shoulders. Only her long, elegant ears betrayed that she belonged to another world entirely. They twitched slightly whenever the ship produced another unnecessary comment. Outside, endless forests stretched beneath clouds painted silver by moonlight. "So this is Earth," she whispered. Growing up, she had heard stories about humans the way children heard fairy tales. Brave explorers, impossible engineers, reckless inventors who solved disasters by creating larger disasters. According to every history archive, they had vanished centuries ago. Some said they destroyed themselves. Others claimed they ascended beyond physical existence. A few conspiracy theorists insisted humans were hiding somewhere, waiting to surprise everyone. Everyone laughed at those people. She had laughed too, until now. The scanners swept across thousands of kilometers. Nothing. No cities, no orbital stations, no energy grids, no military satellites. Just forests, oceans, and scattered buildings quietly aging beneath the stars. "Looks abandoned enough," she murmured. The transport descended silently toward an isolated valley surrounded by enormous pine trees. Nestled among them stood an old house. Its wooden walls reflected moonlight with surprising cleanliness. Flowers bloomed around the porch despite there being nobody to care for them. She frowned. Strange. No biological caretaker detected. I can see that. Perhaps gardening drones. There are no drones. There could be invisible drones. She stared upward. I am 1 sentence away from removing your speaker. Threat acknowledged. The landing legs touched soft grass without making a sound. She climbed outside and inhaled Earth's cool night air. Every planet smelled different. Some carried metallic ozone. Others smelled of sulfur oceans or crystalline deserts. Earth smelled alive, moist soil, fresh leaves, wildflowers, rain lingering somewhere beyond the mountains. For a memorial world, it felt strangely unwilling to act dead. She slung her compact plasma rifle across her back before approaching the house carefully. Every window appeared dark. No movement, no voices. She activated a small scanner. The device spun once before displaying a single confusing result. Minimal power consumption detected. She blinked. Impossible. The scanner beeped again. Minimal, stable, ancient, almost asleep. She circled the house slowly. The mailbox leaned slightly. The porch creaked beneath her boots. A rocking chair moved gently although there was almost no wind. She immediately aimed her rifle. The chair continued rocking. Suspicious chair. After 30 seconds of watching the dangerous furniture, she lowered the weapon. I nearly declared war on a chair. Victory probability was acceptable. You are not helping. The front door wasn't locked. That surprised her even more. Inside, dust was almost non-existent. Furniture remained neatly arranged. Books rested on shelves. Family photographs lined the walls, though time had faded many of them beyond recognition. She studied one picture. Several smiling humans stood together beside a lake. They looked ordinary, no glowing eyes, no armored exoskeletons, no strange biological adaptations, just people. She smiled without realizing it. So history really began here. Her stomach growled loudly. Very dramatic timing. She searched the kitchen, cabinets, drawers, storage containers. Most were empty. Then she noticed something impossible, a refrigerator still humming. She froze. No. She carefully opened it. The interior light switched on. She actually jumped backward. Inside sat milk, vegetables, butter, several bottles labeled with colorful symbols she couldn't read, one lonely slice of cake. She stared in complete silence. The ship spoke through her communicator. Congratulations. What? You have discovered the galaxy's longest-lasting refrigerator. This makes absolutely no sense. Perhaps refrigeration technology surpassed civilization. She laughed despite herself. Maybe refrigerators inherited the planet. Her stomach growled again. She inspected the milk suspiciously. Expiration date. Yesterday. She slowly lowered the bottle. Yesterday. Silence filled the kitchen. Yesterday. Not centuries ago. Yesterday. Every instinct suddenly screamed that something was terribly wrong. She quietly returned everything exactly where she had found it. Someone had been here, recently, very recently. She backed away from the kitchen. Recalculating threat assessment, she whispered. The hallway lights suddenly turned on by themselves. She nearly fired at the ceiling. What activated those? Motion sensors. Wonderful. Now the house knew she existed. She climbed the stairs as quietly as possible. Each room seemed comfortably lived in. Books left open. A blanket folded over a chair. Music discs arranged neatly. She eventually reached the largest bedroom. The room overlooked the forest through wide windows. A massive bed occupied the center. It should be safe enough for one night, she whispered. She removed her boots and cautiously sat down. The mattress sank beneath her. Her eyes widened. Oh, she bounced once, then twice. This civilization understood comfort. She lay back experimentally. I completely forgive whatever mistakes humans made. Minutes later, she had somehow wrapped herself in an oversized hoodie hanging nearby because the night air felt colder than expected. She looked ridiculous. If anyone could see me now. She laughed softly. The great fugitive of the Orion frontier, defeated by comfortable furniture. Outside, the wind rustled through the trees. Inside, everything became peaceful. For the first time in weeks, she allowed herself to relax. Downstairs, a door quietly unlocked. Footsteps entered the house. Someone placed grocery bags on the kitchen counter. A man hummed cheerfully to himself. He climbed the stairs without the slightest suspicion. Still wearing the borrowed hoodie, she sat upright the instant she heard footsteps approaching. Her long ears stiffened. The bedroom door opened. A human man stepped inside carrying a bag of apples. He stopped. She stopped. The apples slipped from his fingers. One rolled slowly across the wooden floor. For several endless seconds, neither of them remembered how breathing worked. Neither of them moved. The apple continued rolling across the wooden floor until it bumped gently against the wardrobe with an almost insulting lack of urgency. The man blinked twice. The woman blinked 3 times. Then they both pointed at each other simultaneously. Human, alien. They shouted the words at exactly the same time. Silence returned. The man slowly rubbed one eye. I really should stop buying discount coffee. The alien woman tightened her grip on the plasma rifle resting beside the bed. I knew memorial planets were haunted. Haunted. You died centuries ago. He stared. I had a busy week, but I think I'd remember that. She frowned. No, humanity is extinct. I wasn't informed. You wouldn't be. I feel like I should have received a letter. She looked genuinely confused. A letter, you know. Dear sir, congratulations, you're extinct. For reasons neither of them understood, she laughed. It escaped before she could stop herself. A small laugh, then another. The absurdity of the situation overwhelmed the terror for a brief moment. The man cautiously smiled. Okay, good. Laughing people usually shoot less. I haven't decided. I appreciate the honesty. She quickly became serious again. You are biologically human. I've been told. My database confirms it. That's reassuring. It also says you shouldn't exist. He looked around his own bedroom. I've been living here for almost 5 years. Existing has become something of a habit. She slowly stood from the bed. The oversized hoodie nearly reached her knees. He looked at it. She noticed. Is this yours? Unless someone else has been stealing my laundry. I borrowed it. I can see that. You may have it back. You know what? He sighed dramatically. You keep it. She narrowed her eyes suspiciously. Why? Because asking an armed alien to change clothes feels like an excellent way to shorten my lifespan. She considered that reasonable. Neither noticed the bedroom ceiling quietly projecting microscopic blue lights across the room. Tiny scanners observed them. Ancient systems, dormant for centuries, had awakened. Deep beneath the house, buried beneath layers of reinforced alloy and stone older than modern civilizations, forgotten machinery quietly restarted. Power levels increased from 0.001% to 0.002. Hidden processors began comparing DNA samples. One sample matched archived records, human genome, verified, priority override accepted. The awakening had begun. Upstairs, neither occupant knew any of it. The man slowly raised both hands. My name is Ethan. She hesitated. Lyra, nice to meet you. This isn't a meeting. No, I broke into your house. You did. I was hiding. I noticed. I believed nobody lived here. That's slightly better. She tilted her head. You're remarkably calm. I'm choosing denial. Denial? If I panic now, I'll probably pull a muscle. She looked puzzled. You fear muscle injuries during life-threatening encounters. I'm 32. Is that old? My knees think so. She stared at him. Human biology is disappointing. You should hear my back every morning. A floorboard creaked. Both instantly turned toward the hallway. Lyra's expression sharpened. You live alone? Yes. No pets. No security drones. No defense turrets. I have a flashlight. She blinked. That's adorable. He looked mildly offended. It has fresh batteries. The house suddenly spoke. Identity confirmation in progress. Both froze. A calm mechanical voice echoed through every room. Welcome home, registered resident Ethan Carter. Ethan frowned. I've never heard that before. Lyra's long ears twitched. Neither have I, another voice followed. Unknown extraterrestrial life form detected. Lyra quietly aimed her rifle toward the ceiling. I dislike talking houses. Honestly, Ethan looked upward. This is new for me too. Soft vibrations passed through the floor. Bookshelves shifted a few millimeters. Somewhere beneath them, enormous machines rotated after centuries of silence. Dust drifted from the ceiling, then everything stopped. The house became quiet again. Ethan looked at Lyra. Well, she looked back. Well, I'd like to officially apologize. For what? I think my house is possessed. She almost smiled. It does appear socially unusual. He walked carefully toward the bedroom door. Stay here. No, I only want to check downstairs. I'll come. I promise I'm not setting a trap. You literally belong to an extinct species. I keep hearing that. You remain suspicious. You stole my hoodie. You gave it to me. I felt pressured. Together they stepped into the hallway. The lights illuminated one section after another before they even reached them. The entire house seemed aware of their location. Ethan stopped beside an old framed photograph hanging on the wall. He had passed it thousands of times. Tonight something was different. Hidden symbols glowed beneath the glass. Lines of unknown writing slowly appeared around the faded picture. Lyra inhaled sharply. That's galactic standard. What does it say? She stepped closer. If you are reading this, the archive has recognized the final human heir. Both stared silently. Ethan looked at the picture again. My grandfather always said this house had been in our family forever. Forever may have been more literal than you realize. The writing vanished. Another vibration traveled beneath their feet. Far below, a massive circular vault unlocked its first seal. 1 out of 100. Outside the house, hidden among the trees, tiny insects rested quietly on branches. At least they looked like insects. One unfolded metallic wings. Its eyes glowed red. It transmitted a signal toward orbit. Signal received. Biological confirmation complete. Living human located. Across the darkness above Earth, something answered. A vessel without running lights changed course. Then another. Then dozens more. Invisible ships that had silently watched the forgotten planet for generations began moving. Back inside, Ethan had found exactly one concern. If aliens are real, they are. Does that mean my internet bill has been overcharging me for years? Lyra stared. That is your priority. I've had a confusing evening. For the second time since meeting him, she laughed despite every instinct telling her not to. Somehow that ordinary human, standing in an impossible house on a planet declared dead by the galaxy, had made the impossible seem strangely normal. Neither of them realized that the first search fleet would reach Earth's atmosphere before sunrise. The first hint that they were no longer alone came from the silence. The crickets outside stopped singing. The wind faded. Even the old wooden walls of the house seemed to hold their breath. Lyra stepped toward the window. They're here. Ethan looked outside. I don't see anything. You aren't supposed to. Above the clouds, dozens of cloaked warships surrounded Earth without a single navigation light. Their dark hulls bent the starlight around them until they became little more than holes in the night. The calm voice of the house returned. Threat level galactic. Ethan folded his arms. I missed 5 minutes ago when my biggest problem was finding out I had an alien in my bedroom. That was only an hour ago. It feels like Tuesday lasted 3 months. The floor trembled. This time the vibration didn't stop. A section of the living room slid aside, revealing a spiral staircase descending into darkness. Lights awakened one after another beneath the house. The mechanical voice continued. Human genetic authority verified. Archive entrance unlocked. Lyra stared into the opening. There shouldn't be anything under a farmhouse. There wasn't yesterday, Ethan answered. Yesterday? I assume. He picked up a flashlight. The house politely replied, flashlight unnecessary. You heard that? I hear everything. Ethan sighed. I liked this house better when it was quiet. They descended together. The staircase seemed endless. Concrete slowly became polished metal. Wooden walls transformed into shining alloys untouched by rust or time. Finally, they reached an enormous chamber. It stretched farther than either of them could see. Thousands of suspended crystal cylinders floated above the floor. Each contained holographic stars, historical records, and streams of glowing data. At the center stood a circular platform waiting silently. As Ethan stepped onto it, blue light surrounded him. A human figure appeared. An elderly woman wearing a simple gray uniform smiled warmly. Welcome home. Ethan instinctively stepped backward. Hello. If you are seeing this recording, then humanity's long watch has finally ended. Lyra listened without blinking. The woman continued. We were never destroyed. We disappeared by choice. Images filled the chamber, ancient human fleets, countless alien civilizations. A shadow unlike any living creature spreading through the stars. It possessed no ships, no soldiers. Instead, it infected information itself. It rewrote memories, changed databases, altered history until entire civilizations forgot what had truly happened. The recording continued. When we discovered it, we learned the entity could only erase civilizations that remained visible. So we erased ourselves first. Every archive, every monument, every official record. Humanity deliberately vanished from galactic history while a small number remained hidden on Earth, protecting the archive until the danger had weakened. Our sacrifice ensured every other civilization survived. The hologram looked directly toward Ethan. If you stand here today, then someone from another world has found humanity again. Lyra slowly lowered her head. My people celebrated your extinction. They didn't know, they were never allowed to know. The hologram smiled. Then our plan worked. The recording faded. Silence returned. Ethan looked around the endless chamber. My grandfather. He knew, Lyra whispered. He never said anything. He couldn't. Another alarm interrupted them. Orbital fleet entering attack position. The chamber walls transformed into enormous displays. Dozens of warships surrounded Earth. A transmission arrived. A masked commander appeared. The human must be surrendered. The archive will be destroyed. History must remain unchanged. Ethan looked at Lyra. So, they're the people who kept everyone believing humans were extinct. She nodded. They've protected the lie for centuries. The house suddenly asked, would the registered resident like to activate planetary defense? Ethan blinked. I have planetary defense. Affirmative. Why didn't anyone mention that on moving day? User did not ask. He laughed despite himself. I walked into that one. He took a deep breath. Activate it. The ground shook. Across Earth, mountains quietly opened. Ancient satellites hidden beneath oceans burst toward orbit. Moon-based stations illuminated after centuries of silence. Thousands of silver drones surrounded the planet like a protective constellation. The attacking fleet hesitated. The house calmly announced, Defense Network online. Estimated effectiveness, excessively encouraging. Even Lyra smiled. I like your house. I think it likes compliments. The enemy commander attempted to issue another threat. Instead, every screen across every ship changed. The archive had already begun broadcasting. Historical recordings, human sacrifices, original documents, unaltered memories. The truth flooded every communication network in the galaxy faster than it could be erased. On distant worlds, museums rewrote their own exhibits. Artificial intelligences recovered deleted centuries. Billions watched forgotten history unfold in real time. Confused soldiers lowered their weapons. Commanders argued with their own navigation computers. Entire governments realized their histories had been manipulated. One by one, the hostile ships powered down. The masked commander removed the helmet slowly. He looked exhausted rather than evil. So many years. So many lies. He cut the transmission. The fleet retreated without firing a single shot. Earth became quiet once more. Morning sunlight entered through the farmhouse windows. The hidden staircase slowly disappeared back beneath the floor as though nothing extraordinary had happened. Birds began singing again. Ethan sat on the porch holding 2 cups of coffee. He handed one to Lyra. She accepted it carefully. So, you accidentally broke into my house. I did. You borrowed my hoodie. I still have it. You helped expose the biggest lie in galactic history. I suppose I did. He looked at the sunrise. What happens now? She smiled. Now the galaxy has to learn humans aren't myths. And you? I was running away when I came here. She looked toward the sky where friendly ships were already arriving openly instead of hiding. I don't think I need to run anymore. Ethan nodded. Good. She looked at him. You've changed. Have I? When I met you, you were trying to convince yourself I wasn't real. And now, you've accepted that the universe is much stranger than you imagined. He laughed. My talking house helped. The front door opened behind them. The house spoke one final time. Breakfast is ready. Both turned in surprise. I didn't make breakfast, Ethan said.